What is up, everybody? It is Tuesday night. Tuesday night means but one thing. I am Chad Brock,
And I'm Zach Bailiff.
and you guys are tuned in to the one, the only Orion Podcast 45, Michael Jordan style. Welcome back, one and all. It is good to be here. I didn't know if I was going to make it, to be honest with you. I was running around like a squirrel trying to get everything figured out, things in the corner. I had tools all over my desk. We're back.
Yeah. I've been on my deathbed for about a week, so I'm just glad to be upright and talking.
You're back off the creek.
Yeah. The whatever Cucamongus virus I had. Jungle fever.
I froze up.
Oh,
Are you
you're
there?
good.
Can
Yeah.
you hear me?
I got you.
Technical difficulties on my end. Pardon the French. Didn't get blocked out. Our guest was worried about what to say. If he could use those kinds of words, I've done broke the ice for him. So we're on.
I didn't
we're
hear
gonna
it
be
on my
the
end.
You didn't hear it on yours, so see.
No, I didn't hear it on
I
my
know it
end.
got turned out. But yeah, you're off the hacking and the coughing barely.
Barely.
Fake spring has officially arrived in the Midwest. You call Pennsylvania the Midwest, or are you part of the East?
No, Pennsylvania's east.
Yeah, sorry, it's part of it, but still,
Tis
fake
what it
springs
is.
here. Fake
Yeah.
springs here. People are dreaming about fishing. People are dreaming about turkey hunting. It's that type of season, man. Fake spring. Skunks are out in full force here in beautiful state of Indiana. The mating
That's
season
fun.
has begun. Oh, yeah. It's real fun when it's dark and you're tromping around outside and you see that little white streak take off running across the yard. That's always a fun thing.
Yeah.
That's always
Yeah.
fun.
That'll wake
Yeah.
you up real early.
It does wake you up real early. Wakes you up in time for one of these garage beers, man. But no, man, how's everything been? I mean, we've like barely talked here in like the last few days, man.
Well, I mean, I've not done a whole lot of anything. I laid on the couch all week last week and was barely functioning. The second half of the week, first half of the week, I wasn't functioning at all. So it was rough, but starting to get my feet back underneath me, and the lungs are clearing out a little bit. Today's workout was a little bit better, so hopefully by the end of the week I'll be back to normal.
Can't beat that. Give everybody at home what the best thing on Netflix is right now, because I know you've probably been through about half of it.
What have I watched? I just got done watching Pennyworth on Max. That was a cool watch. If you're into the whole Batman saga, Netflix. I watched Who Is Aaron Carter, little mini series. It wasn't bad. It was a lower budget European flick kind of series, but it was good.
All the
It was cool.
subtitles.
No,
man.
no, it was English, but
I got brave. The boat made it to the water. It was a whopping 39-degree water temperature. We did plow through some ice. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Brumman got full speed and just let it send right on through there.
Nice.
Yeah, good half-inch to a quarter-inch thick ice. I was like, dude, you know that's how the Titanic went down in here in plastic, right? But no, man. So yeah, things are starting to pop. It's at least good to feel like getting outside again and at least have the itch to be out there. So
yeah, for sure. I gotta start building a bow for Reading here soon. That'll be here before I know it. So first weekend of May.
For sure. For sure. I've been bow shopping again. I don't know if I'm going to get there or not, but I've been shopping again, thinking that it'd be nice to bomb a few arrows across the yard here.
I got one right there that'll fit you.
I know you do. You got a couple that probably fit me.
Yeah. I got one of those is probably already spoken for, but that one over there is not yet.
Yeah, we might have to make something happen. Rumor has it that, we could probably do something. But so our guest tonight, well, I guess we should pay the bills and then go to the guest.
Yeah.
Bills then guest, or do we pay dude? Anyway. So he's out of practice too. We're like proudly drinking some garage beer tonight. So thanks. Shout out to the folks at Garage Beer for their collaboration. Z Pro Lithium batteries, zprolithium.com. Check those guys out. They're baller batteries, man. They have held up. Those dudes charged right up for this fishing trip. They've been outside in the cold, come inside, charged them up, got them ready to go. No problems. They hadn't went to sleep. Just awesome durability. I've put these things through as much as I can and glad to stand behind them. And thanks to Z Pro for keeping Zach and I powered out on the water. Obviously, Jackson Kayak, Orion Coolers. If you need a kayak, if you need a cooler, head over on jacksonkayak.com, pick you up a cooler. Orion Rocks, get yourself a little percentile off. Pretty stoked about that. Cast King, obviously, keeping us casting all year long. Those things are, we've said it a million times on this podcast. Feels like a million times, but it's probably been about 20 times based on the number of episodes. Yeah, those guys have really stepped up for us, and it's been an awesome, amazing product to use. Really impressed both of us quite a lot. Bass Pro Fishing. I ain't got my bass go on tonight. I feel weird without it. But head over there, bassprofishing.com. Get a hold of our buddy Chris. Get you some swag. You need some swag. Great outdoor fishing clothes, and you just can't go wrong. He's got some off-the-wall styles and some different things that he's popping up there. Evolve Fishing. Best rod sleeves I've probably used. They won't pierce from the hooks. And then I've already tested the floating feature, so that's good. Tested that out Saturday. That was awesome for Sunday.
Knocking that rust off.
Yeah, somehow or another, I flipped one out of the boat and into the water. So I can confirm that they do float firsthand. They float very well. You will not have to worry about losing your rod socks. So check them out. JKT15. Get yourself 15% off on some rod socks. You need them. Some Evolve Fishing rod socks. I think there's actually a brand called that. So I don't know if you're supposed to say it like a rod sleeve. There's probably a brand name that too.
Probably. We know there's one by another name.
Our guest is sitting behind the scenes right now going, I thought I taught these two
better than this.
They know better than this. They know how to be outgoing and be fun. We've had these conversations. I've told them a million times. I've given them the playbook and told them everything on how to do this. He's our mentor. He was our mentor at one time for sure.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this guy is probably more responsible for these two idiots sitting here running a podcast than anybody else, to be honest.
Yeah, probably so. We've known him for going on 15 years now.
Yeah, it's been a while. I don't know how else to introduce him other than the Godfather. Feels accurate, don't it?
Yeah, he's been with us since the early days. That's for sure.
He was one of the first people that put up with us, two idiots, just he was
the first phone call that we made to sponsor a little old fishing tournament series, and he was all in. We were like, "Are you sure? We don't know what we're doing."
He's like, "Yeah, we can do more." I'm like, "Okay, yeah." So without further Dude, the one, the only, the Godfather, Douglas Fairbanks III.
Dude, I forgot how many sponsors in the outdoors business you can rattle off for a podcast. Like, how many did you list? There was like
We're minimal. We're pretty minimal.
no, I know it's
Minimal.
like NASCAR. Do you guys have jerseys on right now?
It's
Like all the little
underwear.
logos.
I've got some. I knew a guy, and he was able to, like print those things at one time. And I had a pair of jockey shorts, man. Yeah, say kaboom on the back, and then had different sponsors down the side.
That's hilarious. I appreciate you guys having me on. Zach had hit me up and asked me to do it a couple times, and I was being lazy and was like,
He was
nah,
being
I
lazy.
don't know.
Yeah, he was being lazy. He was like, I don't know that I want to be on a podcast. And then by the end of that week, or maybe the next day, he had bought all the equipment to start his own podcast. So
Yeah, I recall that. And Zach's like, that's got everything to do his own podcast. I'm like, yeah, he doesn't like us anymore. He's moved on. He's got new girls.
I was actually like setting up my MacBook Pro to do this with my AirPods, and I was like, man, this is a lot easier than the crap that I get myself into these days.
Yeah, the sound stream is actually very, very simple. It's so simple, Chad and Zach can do it. And that's
I appreciate the simplicity of it.
Well, I remember when you just used to call us those hillbillies.
I may have called you that. I didn't call Zach that. I'm just kidding.
Hey, we'll take it. We'll take it. Oh man. So I don't know how we intro you other than you like kind of took two idiots underneath your wing when you started this fabulous company back in the day. People might have heard of it, probably not. Hoorag, which was your first big adventure that I know about. But since then, we've all kind of stayed in touch, and the relationship's grown, and we've learned a lot from you. You're also a social media guru. That's why I think you're the godfather. You're the guru.
Yeah, I feel like the social media thing as I get older is getting. I feel like it's getting harder in a way, just because I think as I get older, I start to it annoys me more, where I don't want to have to be doing it, and
yeah,
like it just gets. It's like, and not only that, like I've been running social media game now for I mean, with Hoorag, I had that for 10 years, and we went hard on the social media game with that, and then we rolled into what we're doing now, and we're into year 2. It's been a long. It's I don't know. I like it, and it's fun, but it's also like when you think about humans, their desire and their appetite for consuming all the social media stuff, and how short-lived stuff is. When I'm working on something, I'm like, ooh, this is going to be really good. And you're like, I'm putting all this time in this damn thing, and like, it's just this constant like time suck, and like it works and it's good, but like also, I got gray hair. Look, I got grays coming in. I don't want to do it anymore, man.
Yeah, dude. It eats. We talk about it all the time, but it eats content like no other.
Yeah,
like you cannot create enough fast enough to keep it fed.
No,
it's a machine.
Dude, and when you started, like we're starting out, you look back just 13 years ago, it was all, I mean, dude, you were like flying organic, buying pages off of people and just doing all kinds of wild stuff.
I sometimes have to sit back and think about, like, I'll sit around with so we're in a different space now, whatever, a different industry. We may talk about that later, but I talk to these younger kids that are in it that like kind of, and I do think this is cool, is now that I am older. So like, I'm almost 45, but I have like kids now that are in like their 20s and 30s that like, they'll come to me and be like, hey, what about this? Or how should we do this? Or what do you think about running pay-per-click? Or what do you think about like boosting my posts? Like all these little things, like, should I do giveaways? Should I not do giveaways? All these things. And I think back about all of the stuff that we've done, and like, we really I really have been like OG. Like I'm young enough to have experienced the social media thing all the way since MySpace. Like I just said that MySpace.
Yeah.
And like
Tom.
I didn't yeah. I didn't run business game on MySpace. That was like me cutting my teeth into what social media was. But as soon as Facebook and Instagram became a thing, like, bro, I remember. Can I tell this? I gotta tell you this story. Like back in the day, of, like advertising.
The floor is yours.
So back in the day, there was all these like truck pages, like overlanding pages or camping pages, fishing pages, big bass pages, big snook pages, monster whitetail, all these like little individual niche pages. And like they were very hyper focused because of the way the algorithm was working with Instagram, where if it was like all turkey pictures and like you could like dominate all the turkey traffic. And if you were all whitetail, you could dominate that. Well, I started going to these page owners and I was like, hey, man, like you've got 250,000 followers and they're all rednecks that like to chase deer around. And I sell a product that deer hunters like, and we're licensed with Realtree and Mossy Oak. Like, can I run an ad on your page for like a deal on neck gaiters for 24 hours? And you can delete the post when you're done, but just put it up there and I'll do it. And like, nobody was like doing, I like was just like, let me try it. I think I'd seen one other guy do it like on some other small page. And I was like, let me try it. This is a true story. So, and I could tell it now that it's all done deal. But my partner at the time, Dave, I called him and I said, hey, this guy said that I could run an ad for $50 for 4 hours. And he was like, dude, what is that going to do? I was like, I don't know, but I made a coupon code and made it active. We're going to see what happens. Bro, we ran on a page with 250,000 followers and sold $4,000 in $15.95 bandanas. Yeah. So the next thing you know, I hired somebody and I'm like, I want you. They're like, what's the job? And I'm like, you're a media buyer. Like, go to all these pages. And so I would sit there and I would crank out designs. And if it was like, snowboarding, I would give them a snowboarding looking ad. If it was fishing, I'd give them a fishing ad. If it was freshwater fishing, I'd make sure it was a dude with a bait caster lipping a giant bass. If it was saltwater, I'd have a dude with a fly rod with a tarpon. If it was inshore, like technical fishing, I had all these things and I was just cranking them out. And we were like literally printing cash. Like it was, and then Instagram was like, oh, okay, like we're going to kill all that. So they changed their algorithm where those pages, unlike Zach said, we started buying pages. We bought Fishing Daily, Hunting Daily. So we started running. So we were paying these guys. We just like paid them like $3,000, bought their page, and then started running our own ads. Dude, it's wild. It's wild. It was gangster, dude. Like old school social media.
Not only that, man, but like you like. To us were not only that, but you were the heartbeat because you were like throwing down on graphic ads. You were taking photos. I mean, you were and are still a one-man wrecking crew as far as getting it done.
Yeah, I think there's funny you say that because I think I struggle with that personally, like just being totally transparent and vulnerable. Is I think one of the biggest things that I struggle with as I build these brands is, and this is going to come off across as arrogant, I don't really give a damn, but the reality is that I know how to do it better than everybody else in the beginning. And so I try to do it and set the tone and the look and the vibe. And then I always try to turn it over to people and like hope that they can continue to emulate what I've done. But the hard part is that it's a lot of years of experience of doing it, but also to find somebody like I would never sit there and say that I'm the best graphic designer in the world, but I'm pretty damn good. I would never say that I'm the best editor in the world, but I'm pretty good. The problem is as you get bigger, you have to actually find, if you want to be the best, you have to find like the best. And
you got to be able to delegate those jobs to other folks.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you're running a startup, dude, like I mean, you're talking like if you had like a badass editor, the chances of that guy being a really good shooter, probably not the case. So like now you're at 2 employees, then you got a graphic designer, then you got your pay-per-click guys that actually know. I mean, dude, it's like before you know it, you have 6 or 7 guys and I've never really fully mastered the Hoorag. I got it to where we had a lot of people doing stuff, and that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But with this latest one, dude, I'm very much we're working toward it. I just hired a graphic designer. He's a new guy. Shout out Remy. And I'm teaching him, but dude, the kid's straight out of college. Like, he literally knows nothing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and he's doing a good job, but also, like, I think he said to me, I was like, he's been there with us for 3 weeks, and I said to him last week, I was like, hey, do you go home at night and tell your mom that, like, you hate your job? Because I, like, bust his balls. Like, I mean, I'm not easy on him. But,
I can only imagine.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a nice guy, but like when it comes to getting stuff done, I'm pretty. But he said no. He said I don't hate my job. He said, but he's like, I did tell my mom that I thought I was like, I knew what I was doing when I graduated college. He's like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
So like it's cool though. It's cool to take a kid like that though and teach them, you know.
Yeah. Well, and obviously, I mean, if they want to learn, it makes it a lot easier too.
Yeah. Yeah, man. No, that's
when you think back, man. I mean, you learn so much on the job, really. I mean, you grow a lot in the space that you're in. You know, straight out of college, you think you know, but do you really? I mean, you're constantly learning. I think once you get in there around them old guys and start, that's been around the block a time or two. Now,
there's a ton.
So let's back the truck up. Pre-Hoorag. Let's talk about Doug pre-Hoorag. You spent a little time in the service. How did you go from? Well, how'd you end up in the Marines? How did you end up learning all the things that you've learned? How did this all translate into each other?
I mean, the easiest Cliff Notes version to break it all down is that I wasn't a great student in high school. I think I barely graduated. I mean, I had teachers give me fake grades because I was pretty good at soccer, and they wanted me on the team, so I'd gotten like good grades, but I barely graduated high school. Like, I'm talking like 2.0. Joined the Marine Corps. I partied. Like, I lived life to the fullest and had a good time. And so I wasn't college material. So I joined the Marine Corps, and like, I think to Cliff Notes the whole thing, that I always had an interest in TV production and media and just digital graphic design, digital arts, all that stuff. I mean, I did some of that in high school. And I was part of a 5-man. I could go on. I was part of a 5-man team or 6-man team that made mini movies for the JVC film competition, and we like did really well with that thing. I think we might have won it twice, or we won it once for sure. At Universal Studios, where they shut down Universal Studios and bring the top high schools. We like crushed it. Now all those guys like are all like, I mean, they've worked with Steven Spielberg. Like, I'm like the least accomplished out of all of them. As far as digital media stuff is concerned, but I was always into that stuff, and I think the reason that I went so hard in it, though, really, like, and like really tried to like go and hustle, is like, dude, I impregnated my wife at a very young age and needed to pay bills, bro. Like, yeah, it was like there was no, like, I went from the Marine Corps making like $23,000 a year or whatever it was, and got out and like went to go work for 30. And I was like, I remember thinking like, I'm going to do whatever I have to do that doesn't put me in handcuffs to get to $100,000 a year. And I'm going to do it as fast as I can. And, that was it, man. I taught myself graphic design. I taught myself a little bit of web development. I started designing websites for people. Before that though, I had a public forum. Did you guys ever remember back in like I guess it would have been like 2002, 2005, even further than that, but like the whole PHP forums, like hunting forums, fishing forums, and all that.
I remember some I ever got into them.
I remember some forums once I got into college a little bit, but when I was in high school, I don't remember much in the way of forums.
Yeah, they were pretty big.
I didn't go deep into that whole.
There was like one called like Chi-Town Angler that was out of Chicago that was really big, and like they had them like every state had their own. Like there's guys that did them. I had one called FloridaFishAndHunt.com, and I grew that and sold it. And I always just messed around with the internet.
Yeah. I think that's pretty safe to say for a lot of people that are in our age group, because I'm a lot the same way as you, as far as, just like you kind of come out with that mentality, and then you're, as Kid Rock would say, self-made like Henry Ford. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Do you think like our generation just has a different drive? The different tenacity?
I don't know if there's a different drive. There's plenty of kids that are in their 20s and 30s that are killing it right now. I do think that the one thing with our generation that was like a little bit weird and unique, like every generation has like a unique scenario. And I think one of the things that was unique for our generation is that we literally came to maturity as the internet, the largest force, this life-changing thing as far as e-commerce and finance and everything. Like everything like started in like 1996, a little earlier than that, but like 96, 97, like that's when it really started cranking. And if you're in your 40s, you were right in the beginning of that. And dude, there's a lot of people that I know my age that they either like saw that and like realized the power of it and acted on it and benefited from it, or didn't learn it at all or care to, and they still have trouble powering up their iPhone. So like, I don't like, it just kind of depends. So I think that that's one thing with our generation is like, we part of that hustle maybe because some of us realize like, dude, this is a really powerful tool and like, it could literally change your life. And some of us like latched onto it so whether it's drive or just opportunistic behavior, I don't know, man.
No, it was with advertising from day one.
I mean, in respect to that and the internet and either accepting it or fighting it and all that, do you think we're seeing that again with AI?
Yeah. I think the old boomers, like I feel like a boomer a little bit now. Part of me wants to be like, that AI stuff is gonna go. I
know.
But also I will tell you this: in the last 6 months, I've gotten a fair amount of emails from dudes that have a writing background that are looking for jobs, and I'm seeing that. So that's an indicator to me that like it's affecting. I mean, dude, I've been doing this a long time, and I've never had people reach out to me and be like, "Hey, I'm a creative writer, and like I'm looking for work." And I've never like I've had to go find those people. I've never had to go look for them. And like, dude, I've had like 4 or 5 inquiries in the last 6 months for that.
That's been my whole thing is like, what's it going to do to marketing photography or video work? Or because I mean, you could type that stuff into these AI generators and it just creates it out of thin air. As long as you're punching in as long as you're punching in the right keywords. I mean, I know a few guys that run they're professional photographers and videographers, and they've jumped on one and even gotten down into the minute details of, I want it to look like it was shot on this red camera at this resolution, and it spits it out perfectly.
Yeah. So I think that I will share with you, we use some AI stuff, primarily ChatGPT. We use a fair amount. At this point, with where I see it, it's not going to be like hey, I'm going to prompt this machine to do these things and it spits out exactly what we need. But what it is great for is if you put it in the hands of somebody that's creative, it'll help you begin to roadmap whatever you're working on, right? And like come up with ideas that you may not think of yourself. And you could start off and be like, I know I'm going to make this. And I encourage people, if you're doing something creative, to get in ChatGPT and like get in there and be like, hey, I'm going to start working on this project. And I think this is what I'm going to do. But before you like push forward and make that thing and like do it, go to ChatGPT and start prompting it for ideas about what you're trying to do. And I think you will find that you might get a better idea than you originally had. Like it's pretty
interesting.
Yeah, I just use it as like an exploratory tool for ideas. So, I mean, I feel like I'd be ignorant if I said that I don't think that this thing will ever make like an entire premiere movie and script it and generate the cinematography. Like, part of me wants to say, nah, that'll never happen. Like, but I think that as long as there's humans involved prompting it with super abstract, obtuse thoughts and creativity, then like, yeah, it can be pretty crazy. Hopefully I'm really like old and sitting on the beach somewhere. Just
there always has to be that human element, I think, to make it feel whole. You just have to have a little bit of the human element in there somewhere.
Yeah. It's interesting though. I haven't put a whole lot of thought into the whole AI thing to know where it's going, but I do think it's a force to be reckoned with, and I just don't like thinking about it too much because I get all like conspiracy theorists in my head, and I don't want to.
Yeah, the Terminators are coming. The Terminators are coming.
I could also see you showing up, the first guy on our podcast with the Apple Vision Pro goggles.
No, dude.
Oh God!
I thought he was gonna reach down and pick him up.
No. My equilibrium can't handle that crap anymore, dude. I put those. Dude, I was up in Chicago, and my brother-in-law had what's the, not the Apple ones, but what's the original? The
Oculus.
Yeah, Oculus.
I was up in Chicago, and my wife's family has like a 2-flat, and like that year the upstairs was not rented out, so they're like, hey, you guys can stay up there. And so they had it all like cleaned out from the previous people, and they were ready to rent it again. So we were up there trying to be careful, not mess stuff up. And they had this TV up there, and my brother-in-law Levi had gotten like the Oculus things for Christmas. And bro, I don't know, I probably had like a bottle and a half of wine on me on New Year's Eve, and I'm like doing that like Beat Saber, or I don't even know what it was, whatever the thing is. Dude, not a good scene. Like, I think I fell, almost broke a coffee table, like the whole deal. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, that's the Oculus headsets have been responsible for some really good videos on social for sure.
There's some really good Apple Vision videos out there right now. People just crossing the street going.
Yeah, I think I saw a guy get out of a Tesla. He got out of a Tesla and shut it, and he had those things on. He was doing some stuff with his hands, and like someone was like, "WTF is wrong with this generation?" I'm like, I don't know. It's all weird, dude. The whole thing is weird, man.
It's weird.
It's strange.
We're sitting on this like globe that's spinning and like talking about like fake universes, dude. Like behind. I don't know.
We're heading towards aliens real quick here.
The best one I saw was the dude that was driving down the road in a Cybertruck with his Apple Vision Pro on. The truck's on autopilot driving itself, and he's in the truck doing this.
Oh God!
It's the movie WALL-E. Is exactly what it is.
Whew. It's getting weird.
Yeah, and I will say this, I don't know if I totally answer your question to go all the way back, which I think all three of us knew this was going to be a rabbit hole conversation.
Oh yeah,
100%.
But to answer your question of how I got involved in all this, man, I don't know. Just did. I latched onto the weirdness of the internet, and it's probably because of stuff like the Oculus. Like, dude, I was in the Marine Corps, and like I was burning CDs from Napster and like selling them bootleg as a side hustle out of my barracks, dude. We are
old.
That's a good one.
My mixtape. We went from mixtapes to mix CD.
Bro, I was going down to Fry's Electronics in San Diego, dude, and buying the big towers of blank CDs.
The towers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I had a label printer, dude, and I was like, that's how so now it's all coming out. That's how I started graphic design. I taught myself Photoshop. And I was like photoshopping pictures of like 90s gangster rappers, like with like pistols in their hands and stuff like that, and selling them to like white Marines, dude.
Dude, and
That's
then
awesome.
like Napster.
There was a landscape company in there somewhere too, wasn't there?
Yeah, well, my dad is a landscape architect. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I went and worked for him. And like he was ready to like groom me to like work for him and all that. But dude, I didn't want to do it. My dad did, man.
Yeah.
I still love like my own house. I've designed everything here. Like I go out there and I load my own house as an AutoCAD and design my own hardscape and softscape and all that stuff. But I love doing that, but like it's like a hobby, not a.
Yeah.
I love landscape too. So.
Yeah.
So where did Hoorag come from? How did you and Dave start the beginning here?
Yeah, so I'll go chronologically. Marine Corps, landscape architecture with my dad, not licensed. I was just designing with them. Then I worked for landscape contractors for like 3 years, actually like 5 or 6 years, because I went from one. I got hired by a real estate development company. I was their director of landscape and amenities. And then I went to another landscape contractor. But that entire time from when I left the Marine Corps, I was teaching myself graphic design. I always did it on the side, like always like messing around with it. And then the landscape stuff kind of dried up in 2008 and 2009 with the crash. And I'm in Florida, so like that was bad down here, dude. The housing market, like 08, 09, like dude, everybody that was in the contracting business was like done. So at that time, I had learned enough about graphic design that like I'll never forget. I mean, I got laid off from the last place. My wife is like, "What are you going to do?" And I was like, "I think I can get website clients." So I was making like, I don't know, 70 grand a year or something like that, working for landscape contractors. And I was still chasing that like 6-figure salary. And I was like, I think I can do this by selling websites. And I literally lost my job and spun up a company called Fathom 27, just fishing based stuff. And then I started designing websites for fishing companies, man. I was doing stuff for tackle shops, rod and blank manufacturers. I designed, I don't know how many flats boats companies' websites. I became like one of 2 or 3 people in Florida. Like if you wanted like a for real in the know designer that knew saltwater fishing, like design wise, like I was like the dude. So I did that. And then Dave Batchelor, my old partner with Hoorag, hit me up because he had seen my work and he was an angler as well. And he was like, "Hey, I want to meet you in Fort Pierce at the Tiki." And we had a beer and he threw a bunch of these bandanas on the table. They were, Chinese made bandanas. He'd just gotten back from Shanghai at a trade show. He was like, "You know what these are?" I'm like, "Yeah, those are a buff." And he was like, "Yeah, I got a manufacturer for them. They cost, it doesn't matter. I can say it now, 38 cents a piece or whatever."
Right.
And I was like, dang. And I was like, "They're selling these things for like $25. And I was like, "We should knock them off." And he was like, "Yeah, if you want to do it, let's do it." So I went home, and at the time my wife was my wife was a Marine as well, and she was an armed nuclear security officer at a power plant here in town, made really good money. So I went to her and I was like, "Man, if you'll like be my sugar mama, I'll like fire all my clients and start this thing if you believe in me that I can do it." And she was like, "Do it." So yeah, that's how I started. I started designing for Dave for other businesses at first. Then we did the Hoorag thing, and it blew up, man. It went pretty good. I remember calculating how many bandanas we had to sell to make what I needed to make to pay my bills. And I was like, "Holy shit, that's a lot of $15 bandanas." Like that's like a lot. Like that's a lot. Like, how are we gonna do it? And then, I look back on it retrospectively, and it was like, it was hard, but it exceeded my expectations for sure.
Yeah. When I came down to visit that one year, you guys were doing pretty good then, but you hadn't really blown up to the point that you did.
Yeah, I don't know. What year would that have been?
That was
I remember when that
13, probably.
13, 14.
Yeah, that was the beginning, dude.
Yeah.
That was like we hadn't really gotten.
You were probably still in your first office at that time.
Yeah, he was in the office. They had a small garage because he had his boat in there.
Oh yeah, that was. Well, so were we in a commercial space or no?
Yeah.
Or was that at my house?
No, it wasn't at your house. No,
was
you
that
had it.
small
It was
warehouse,
yeah, it was that small warehouse with the little office space
That
up
was,
front.
yeah, that was 1,000 square feet, and then we moved into 2,500 square feet, and then we moved into 5,000, and we ended up in 15,000 square feet with like full blown sublimation machines. At the
Yeah,
height, I think we had 42 employees. Like it was
It
a
was
small
banging.
business, but it was chaos.
yeah, yeah. Once you guys started doing your own sublimation and all that, you got a lot more custom in what you could do because you were doing all your own printing.
Yeah, we were printing for Costa Del Mar. We printed for Land Rover, Yeti, Strike King.
There's a bunch.
Just
Man.
I mean, dude. I mean, almost every kayak company. Like, I mean, it was like we were doing a ton of it, and the Hurag still exists, and they're still doing custom bandanas. Like, yeah,
They still printing them in house.
yeah. They depending on how many you do. Like, I think when I was there, we tried to really pull as much of it in house as we can because the way that we were trying to edge out competition is, yeah, sure, like you can go to China with another brand, and you're going to need to wait like 35 days. Be like, how's next Wednesday sound? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, Americans, we want it now, Daddy.
Delayed gratification. What's that?
You want me to wait for a month? Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So you guys.
Yeah, and then 2020 hit, and the business did okay through that.
So you sell the Who, you move on. You're like in this state of limbo and retirement there for a hot minute.
Yeah, it was miserable. It was like 8 months, like 8 or 9 months.
Calling me every other day, like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah. What's your workout plan like?
Yeah, we had that conversation a few times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my wife was coming out and telling me that I shouldn't be in the pool drinking at 2 p.m. on Wednesdays. That was pretty freaking lame. Wasn't super excited about that. But no, my wife was the one that was actually, she's like, babe, she's like, you know, you're 43 years old or whatever. She's like, you can't do this. Like you know, a couple things. A, like, you didn't make enough money to where like, you didn't make enough money where you can absolutely for sure never have to work again, depending on what happens with the market and everything else. And she was like, not only that, she's like, you're not happy, you're like miserable. She's like, I think she just really wanted me out of the house, but she wanted me to start. She wanted me to start something else. So that's when I had an old employee. I guess that's where we're going with this. I had an old employee hit me up, and he had an idea. He had known that had witnessed and saw that the pickleball market was like blowing up, and he had hit me up and was like, "Hey," he's like, "Do you know what pickleball is? Have you played?" And I was like, "Yeah, my mom's been playing pickleball for a long time, but I don't like play." And he was like, "Well, it's absolutely like blowing up big time." And he was like, "I need someone to partner with me on it because it's not cheap to get into." And I was like, all right. So I took a look at it, and I didn't think that long about it, man.
No, you didn't.
I did like, I looked at it for like 3 weeks, and I did some redneck math on what it was going to cost to start up. And of course, like I always do, I ran it by my wife, which I'm lucky enough that she's pretty supportive. She doesn't need much convincing. If she thinks I believe in it, she's always like, do it, whatever. Like, I will say that, like, my wife can be a huge pain in the butt sometimes, but man, she, like, when it comes to that stuff, she trusts me. And so she was like, do it. And, yeah, he had kind of brought me the brand kind of ready to go. Like, we did some more work on the brand and stuff like that. And like the ideas got tweaked a little bit as far as what we were going to sell and how we were going to sell it. But yeah, it happened pretty quick, man. We went from like, it was like 3 weeks, and I think I registered the domain name, and we went after it. So here we are selling pickleball paddles. Cheers.
Doing photo shoots at JCPenney's.
Did you see that, Chad?
Yeah. Yeah, I seen that when I was misspelling Sapusuck.
A little weird.
That was
It got
great.
weird. It got weird. No, I mean, and you like transformed this brand just like you did Hoorag into its own special Doug Fairbanks the Third. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's Douglas Fairbanks the Third.
It's his, yeah. It's
It's got your style all over it.
Well, this one, I'll share with you this is that with Hoorag, I had a partner, and I don't have a partner with bread and butter anymore. I own 100% of the thing now, but I started with one. And when I started Hoorag, I had a partner, and my partner, I love him. His name is Dave again, but Dave was a little bit more probably it was smart at the time, but Dave was a lot more conservative than I was when it came to like what you do, what you say, how we do things, and all that. And I also think that like it was good for me because at that time in my life, I didn't understand where the line was with doing and like marketing wise. Like I'd probably go a little far. But when I started this brand, and once my original partner with this brand was like out of the way, and it had decided to go a different direction, I like fully leaned into like us just like I don't know, man. I don't even know how to say it. Like we just like it's just like we're like very irreverent, like with everything that we do from customer service, social interaction. Like we'll roast somebody like in public in the comments. Adam, I'm not saying it's the smartest thing to do, but like for us and where I'm at in my life, I really enjoy operating that way. It's
it's pickleball if the Chive did pickleball.
Yeah, or Wendy's, like on Twitter.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's kind of like we just kind of like don't put up with any crap, and we kind of make fun of everybody, and like some people don't get it, and like my thing is I just like waking up every day, and like I think the reason I like it is it opens it up that when you do have a problem and there's like an internet troll, you don't like think about if you're running like a company that's like very PC, and like you get a guy that's like, well, I played your paddle and I don't think it's better than this paddle, da 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 da, and like they write that thing. Like, what do you do if you're like a PC company? You're sorry you feel that way. Like,
Right.
Please send us an email, da da da. Or you do like the chicken shit thing where you like hide their comment.
Yeah.
Right. And like then they get mad. They send you another message. And then they just like encourage them. Now I just make them look stupid.
Yeah.
Like I just verbally assault them until our army comes in. It's like I'm like a recon task force. We come in, like kick doors down, and then they come in and just like finish the whole deal. I don't know. It's fun, man.
Yeah. No, it keeps it super refreshing and just entertaining for the entire consumer base too. So
yeah. Well, and we
getting fancy.
Oh, he's bringing up a
I
screen.
try. Yeah, I pulled you up there.
It's our number one selling paddle, the Filth.
Valentine's
Day, 2-pack deal.
Yeah, that's that.
And there it is. Right there.
Friggin' love it.
Look at that thing, dude.
The minute I saw those and you posted them to your story, I was like, "That's legendary."
Bro, my wife was not happy about that shit, dude.
No, I figured she was. I figured she was completely down with the whole thing.
No, dude. When we ordered all the my daughter Aurora ordered all the costume stuff off of Amazon.
Oh, that's awesome.
And like I brought it home like the night before the shoot, and my wife looked at it and she was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" I'm like, "Just hear me out. Hear me out. It's gonna work. People are gonna love it." And dude, that thing, people love it, dude.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
Stole all the poses from the what was the movie? I can't even think. I was trying to think of the name of it the other day.
I'm trying to remember because like what was it?
The one where they robbed the armored car.
Yeah, what is the name of it, dude?
I can't remember. It's Kristen Wiig and Zach Galifianakis. That's the only thing I remember.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. When we had the idea to do the shoot, it wasn't because of that movie. It was just because JCPenney shoots are hilarious.
Oh yeah. Well, and the whole brand has more of a retro vibe anyway.
Yeah. So it was fun though. But then after we got done with that shoot, my wife was like, I took her out to lunch, and she's wearing all that makeup and this like little pink skirt and all this stuff, and or white skirt with a little pink top, and she's like, "Are we really going in here right now?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're walking to have lunch." And she like, we were in her truck, and she handed me the pink headband, and she was like, "You are putting this crap on and wearing it at lunch, or I'm not going inside." And I was like, "Ha ha ha, yeah." I got out, and I was like, I took it off, and she's like, "No, I'm not kidding. You're putting that on." So we both sat at lunch, drinking beers on a white girl charcuterie board, and I'm in there, and the waiter's like, "You guys play tennis?" And we're like, "Yeah, we play tennis."
Yes, we did.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh man. No, and then, dude, I don't know where we're going, but let's go there. So you're also like, you love the outdoors, dude. It's not just creating these businesses, but your side hustle, your side passions do involve a little bit of a hunting lease and some turkeys out there in the wild.
Yeah, dude, I will tell you. Yeah, totally. And I will tell you that now that I don't work in the hunting and fishing business anymore, I enjoy it more again. I was starting to not like it because I was surrounded by it, but I'm participating in a sheep's head tournament on Saturday. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, you still got a boat?
Yeah, I have a little skiff.
Okay, I couldn't remember if you still had a skiff or not.
Yeah, I got a little 16 Dolphin Super Skiff. It's like a kind of like a legendary Florida Keys skiff that I fish out of. But there's a fish called this sheep's head, and it looks like jail stripes. It's got like vertical red or black and white stripes,
big long spines and stuff on it, right?
Yeah, it's got like actual like human looking teeth.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
But there's a group of guys. There's a group of guys here locally that do a invite only sheep's head tournament every year, because like it's not a fish that people like. Real sportsmen aren't like, let's go kill sheep's head or let's go try to catch a record sheep's head. It's like they taste good, but they're not like, I don't know. They're just not a sport. No, but the point being is they're like everywhere and they can get like pretty big. And so I guess they do this annual tournament where it's invite only. Everybody kind of knows each other. The guy that runs it lives on the water and's got a big house on the water, and like all the boats pull up and like they do a captain's meeting and drink beers the night before, and then they go fish, and it's the largest sheep's head. And I don't know how the prize money. I don't even care. It's just like I'm just going to like drink beers and like laugh. But yeah, dude. So I'm doing that on Saturday. So that should be. So I gotta go to the beach tomorrow and try to catch sand fleas, because we'll catch little sand fleas. I like to eat those. So we're gonna go catch a bunch of those, and I'm gonna what do you call that when you hit them in hot water real quick? Like, no, I was gonna say braids. It's not braids. It's
the blanch them, right?
Blanch them. That's the word I was looking for. So I gotta go blanch a bunch of those, and then we just basically one-aught hook them with a little split shot, and you just go up to pylons, and sometimes you bring a shovel and like scrape the barnacles off and get like a feeding frenzy going. And I don't know, dude. Like, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. No, it sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good.
My ocean fishing, my saltwater fishing is at a level 0. That's
mine. I think the extent of my saltwater angling was with Doug and Jason in 2013 or 14, whenever that was.
I think we took you to like the South Fork River and did some like backwater stuff, didn't we?
Yeah, we were in some brackish water. I ended up the only two things I hooked was I hooked a jack and a snook. Little one.
Yeah, that's
we were pitching we pitched the mangroves and a bunch of stuff that day.
Yeah, we guys should come back down and
get
it's time.
Get on those things. I was actually looking at those Orion canoes before I got on this call earlier today. And dude, you can't buy one of those things. I just noticed on Orion, you can't order that thing online.
No, we don't sell our kayaks online. Just our
You
coolers.
gotta go to a dealer.
You gotta go to a dealer.
Gotcha.
There's a few down there. There's a few down
Yeah,
there.
so, yeah. I need to get one because I'd like to have one for like sometimes when I don't feel like cleaning the boat. And like, dude, do you have to worry about like if you get one like, dude, I'm a total neophyte when it comes to like kayaks. You can make fun of me if you want, but if you have the pedals so the fat guy doesn't have to paddle that much, like if you got those things going, if you have those go, do those rust real bad in salt water or not really?
Not if you rinse them. Most of it, actually, the prop and the dagger board are all plastic. You just got to rinse them out real good, like you would anything else.
Okay. Do they make
That's
one where you
fully
don't have to
warranted.
rinse anything? You just throw it in your garage.
No, not so much. You know how it is. Moving parts. Can't want to rinse it. It's a little cold.
So what you're telling me is I'm going to be like the Orion customer that buys one every year. That's going to be me.
Or just replaces the guts.
Yeah, it can happen.
I'm not
warranty
I'm
claim.
not replacing anything.
Get our favorite warranty guy.
I won't file a warranty, and I won't replace it. I'll just put it on Facebook Marketplace and be like, send me a new one.
You just need to keep coming and getting my last year's boats.
Maybe I should do that.
When he moved into the house, when he moved into the house he lives in now, he's like, so my neighbor told me I got to wash my truck at least like once every 7 to 10 days to get the salt water off of it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Salt
Well,
water
that's what I moved into this place, and it's like I got to get you guys down here because this is a fun spot to live. But I live like a block from the beach, and dude, it destroys everything, dude. Like even little stuff like your hose bibs, everything just gets destroyed. Everything.
You still got the Yoder?
The
red one.
The Tundra? Oh yeah. My son drives it.
That thing's so cool.
Yeah, that's one thing we didn't talk about. Your son has been working with you.
He's got the whole family working for him.
Dude, and my daughter too.
Yeah. See, are they the next proteges?
Yeah, they are. I don't know, man. It's hard. It's like they both bust their butts and they're doing like awesome. But I mean, like, you know, there's days like today was a tough day. I mean, we had a paddle that was out of stock for almost 2 months, and it went back in stock on Friday, and like we sold like 650 of them in like 2 days.
Wow.
So like we came in today, and all those had to be out. Plus, we're launching an ambassador program, and like we're literally trying to like a lot of our customers that want to be on the ambassador program are like older people. So like we have this whole ambassador sign up thing, and like there's a little bit of trickiness like when you fill out the affiliate software stuff because of the software we're using. It's a little wonky how it works. It's like we literally worked on editing one video all day today so that like boomers could figure out how to like fill this thing out. And like it was stressful, man. Like we're like, you're working on something where you're like, I feel like I shouldn't have to do this, but like, bro, you got to do it. But they're doing good, man. They like working there, and I'm glad to have them there. It's fun to see them. I think it's cool that they get to see, you know, something go from like zero to whatever it becomes. You know what I mean? Like that's something that, and they've seen like they've seen, and they, you know, my son lives here, my daughter doesn't, but like my daughter's over here for dinner at least once a week usually, and like they know the trials and tribulations. They know they see that it's not. It does it, you know, from the outside social media, like, oh, look how easy it was, blah blah blah. Like, dude, they see that it is.
Yeah, well, they got to see this one start in your living room, so.
Yeah, well, they did on the other ones too, but they weren't old enough to, I think,
grasp what was going on. Yeah,
and they're working out at a level now where they're seeing like checking account balances and bills being paid, and you know, it's like, oh, we just paid off a credit card. Like, I won't get into. It's like a lot of money in and out, and they get to see like the chaos of it, and they're like, okay, this is wild. So it's fun to let them see all that, you know.
Oh yeah.
So
That's
So
I mean,
But
good real world experience that
yeah,
they probably wouldn't otherwise get somewhere else.
sure.
and somebody that can yell at him and get away with it.
I try not to. And I will say that once I brought in another employee, it was easier to not yell at him, because when there's when there's no employee there, it's like, what the are you doing? Like, like when there's like another employee there, you're like, Devin, can I talk to you for a minute?
Let's go outside where I can yell.
Let's go outside where I can yell. I like it.
It's like, Remy, can you please go on lunch break so I can bitch at my son for the next 45 minutes? No, it's there's rarely a scenario where we like have like a major blowout or anything like that. But like, it is tough with family, man. Like, all of the, I mean, they know my idiosyncrasies. I know theirs. Like, it's like,
Oh yeah.
So none of this crap is real. Like, we're on this podcast. It's like, oh yeah, Doug seems like a pretty chill dude. He's fun, blah blah. Like, I am, but like also like I could be like not fun. I get annoyed and I have anxiety at times, and I'll get down a little bit, and I take it out. It's like, that's just
Part of it.
the way it works.
Human.
Yeah.
It's human.
Yeah.
So what's next?
So I don't know, man. My initial thought was to like build this thing for like 36 months and exit, and that's still maybe a thing, but like also I'm getting ready. Like, I know, Chad, you already went through this, but like I'm kind of like where you were, like I want to say like 2 years ago, where like I got one kid out of the house. I have one that's moving out in the next couple months, and then my youngest is joining the Marine Corps this summer, and so he'll be gone. So it's really, we're empty nesters.
Wild. It's wild.
So it's like, but like I don't know how that's going to shape out. Like, my wife might leave me. I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going to happen.
You're young enough to enjoy it is the beautiful part.
Yeah.
You're not some like 60-year-old dude that's like, kid just finally left. You're gonna be young enough to enjoy it. You still got the energy to enjoy it, that's been the best part. There's a whole lot of figuring out that, like, for us it was like, oh shit, we can go to the movies. Then 2020, of course,
how did that?
we had it. Then 2020 happened, and it's like you can't go nowhere.
So I know this is personal, but like when you and your wife experienced the kids leaving, did you guys was there like any drama there where it's like, hey, this is like weird, or like did you guys like have to like struggle to like figure out and make time for each other, and there was like a weird phase, and or not really?
No, not really, because I think you're still hustling through that grind. It's just that whole figuring out that you can like go do things and take weekend trips and just like be out and about and not have to worry about somebody else. Or, well, of course we got our dog now, so we got to worry about her. That's kind of also where our dog came from, because it was like, yeah, you just kind of want that extra noise, so the dog came into play. But yeah, it was quiet. There was some awkward, but it really balanced itself out pretty quickly, I think, in our space. Because it's like, we figured out, just go do something.
Yeah,
and it was good.
No,
it was actually good.
It's encouraging to hear. I think the thing is, if we don't work on the fact that, hey, we are alone, we can go do these. If you don't do that stuff, that's where things probably go wrong.
Oh yeah, you gotta have something to do.
Yeah, but as far as what I do next, man, I don't know. Like right now, like it was always like a 3-year thing. Like, do this, build it, find a broker, sell it, and then like maybe actually really retire, or maybe do some consulting or whatever. And I think that I'm like starting to. What's that saying? Is like people that suffer from anxiety are constantly worried about the future, and those that are always struggling with depression are always ruminating on stuff in the past or whatever. And I think that I don't have a depression issue. I never really have. But when it comes to anxiety, it's because I do struggle with that. And I think it's because I'm always worried about what the future is going to be. And I think that, say again?
It's always about what's next, what's next, what's next.
Yeah. And I think that this is it's easy for me to say today because like Bread and Butter Pickleball has like rounded the 1 year corner and we're profitable and there's a paycheck involved. And I didn't make money for 12 months. But we've got a few months of like, it's like, okay, hey, this is working. And we have like a legit business now, as long as we don't screw things up. And I think that because that's happened, it's easier for me to like worry less about the future in the sense that like, I'm kind of getting to the point where I just don't want to worry about what's next. I'm like, my mom always used to say, she's like, just one day at a time, one day at a time. And like, it's easy. Everyone says that. And it's like, I hate that saying, like in a lot of ways. It's like, well, if you're only doing one day at a time, then you're not thinking about shit that's about to hit you in the face. Like you probably should be a little bit of a better planner than that. But I guess my deal is that I'm not one day at a time, but I'm also not going to worry about what my life looks like at 50 and what it looks like at 48 or 60, whatever year. Like, I'm just kind of like, I'm going to keep doing this. And, I know we have one more year with this company that we really need to go hard in 2024 to like really secure our spot in the race of paddle companies. Cause I don't know if you know, but there's like 370 of them now or something.
It's a bunch.
Dude, it's a bunch. So, but we're being included in like 1 year in, like I hear from people all the time, we're being included in like top 20 paddle companies like in the United States right now. Which if you know how many came in this year, it's like, okay, like we're doing all right. But it's one of those things where it's like, I just don't want to worry. I just like want to see what happens. And if it feels like I want to sell it, I want to sell it. If my kids are flourishing and taking on more responsibility and I get to spend, I'm planning on doing a long road trip with my wife and going out west this summer, taking paddles all around the country. And if we do that this summer, we have fun. Hell, I may do it again next year. Like, or the following year. I'm just trying to like not get so wrapped up,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. You guys got to do that a little bit last year. You went on the road for what, like 3 months?
Nah, it wasn't 3. We was 30, well, maybe 40 days.
We went to Michigan. It was a good while. Yeah, you ended up all the way up to Michigan.
Have you guys been to Michigan before?
Yeah, once.
Dude, by the way,
right
we need to wrap this up. If you want to wrap this up, you can tell me whenever. I'll talk all forever. But dude, Michigan's amazing.
Yeah, Michigan's a cool spot in the summer.
Dude,
it sucks in the winter.
In the summer, never go there in the winter. But I'm telling you, man, the water up there. I didn't get to fish like I wanted to. I had rods with me, and I only I fly fish in this little spot called the Fox River. I think it was the Fox River. Teddy Roosevelt fished that river because I stood there and did a selfie with the plaque. Like, look at me, I'm fishing on the same. Anyway, but like it was just beautiful up there, man. I mean, just really cool. So
it is. It's gorgeous, especially when you get into like up there around the bridge and the upper UP. I mean, it gets
like Mackinac and all
amazing.
That. Yeah. Dude, I was in SOS mode on my cell phone for like 7 days straight. And dude, I'm gonna tell you, like, I already admitted that I have like anxiety issues. Like, I may or may not have tried to Google hospitals near me like 5 times, like just in case. Like, what happens if my fat ass has a heart attack? Like, where do I go? Yeah, there was none of that. There was none of that. So it was fun though. I really, 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 really liked it. There's a ton of like little breweries like on the north end of Michigan before you get up at the UP. So like I have like a Dometic fridge in my overlanding trailer, and I took like advantage of all those little breweries, and I just walk in and be like, give me a 6-pack of that. Give me so I like loaded the truck down with like Michigan IPAs and just.
Do you base it off?
Really enjoyed it.
Do you base it off which one's got the best logo?
Maybe.
I do.
I mean, dude, here's the thing.
Best name, best logo.
Dude, if someone is gonna spend like $4 or $5 grand to like put into their beer labels, like you gotta imagine that their brewmaster is being paid a little bit better than everybody else's, and it's probably a little better. Yeah.
You'd hope so.
I mean, you hope so.
I
but
like to believe it.
Yeah.
Sometimes the name will sell you, though. Sometimes the name will just. It's like they start rattling off names. They just get this weird one, and it's like that one.
I noticed you're drinking that garage beer. I looked that up too while you were drinking that. That's like a light beer, huh?
Yeah. Same type of deal. Bunch of dudes in Ohio started it in their garage and started it 2020, and it just took off. And
they got really good branding, dude.
Yeah, they've been hooked up with the dudes down at Gas Monkey Garage, Richard Rollins.
Okay.
They got hooked up with him. Same owners and everything still on it, but they've got different distributors now, and it's really taken off.
So is that
they remind me a lot of you. Yeah.
Is that Gas Monkey dude? Is he an investor in it?
I think so now. Yes.
Yeah, it makes sense. A lot of the branding, actually, now that you say it, like
a lot of the branding's really similar.
Yeah,
and he's actually
design group.
the font choice and everything. I could tell was
everything
really in the same family.
That was before he came on. They kind of already had the ball rolling. He's actually fairly new into it, just towards the end of last year, I think. But their marketing dude is he's a cool dude. He's worked for PBR and some different places like that. But yeah, it's as far as the light beer goes, it's good stuff. Here's a can of garage on there. It's like that 70s show, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to try. I probably can. There's a website where you can buy stuff and they'll ship it to you, but because I don't think they can sell me across state lines, but I think I can get it on this one website. I'm gonna give it a try.
That's weird. How some of them you can, some of them you can't.
Yeah, that's dude. I thought about when I was trying to figure out what to do after Hoorag. I had sat down with a couple of, one local brewery and kind of spitballed with another local brewery about helping them and doing all their marketing, and it's so hard because you start talking to companies and they're like, so if you were to get involved, what do you want to do? And I'm like, here's the deal. We're gonna rip apart all of your branding.
Yeah.
We're gonna change your company name, and we're gonna do everything. And they're looking at you it's like a Fort Pierce company, and they're like, well, we kind of like our labels. I'm like, yeah, well, they suck, and we're gonna redo all of them. And they're like,
but that's the big thing with a marketing company. Like a marketing company will call you up and you get hit up all the time. I'm sure they're like, we want to rebrand you. They've all got the same freaking speech.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
especially
there's a million of them now,
big
too.
Conglomerates.
I troll those marketing companies that hit us up about running our pay-per-click campaign.
Yeah.
And I troll them I'll troll them pretty hard. I'll be like, I'll respond back and I'll be like, we're currently getting a 24x ROAS. You think you can beat that? And they'll be like, we think we can do better. And I'm like, really? A 24x ROAS? Dude, there's just a bunch of kids running around now, doing anything they can do to land a client. They're going to get you a 2.5x.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, dude, when I'm changing the subject, but I know, Zach, you were just down here. Weren't you in Florida, Orlando?
Yeah, I caught the jungle fever down there at Universal.
Oh, is that where you got?
Universal? Yeah, and then we flew down on Saturday morning, came back Monday morning, and within 2 hours after being back, I had a fever.
Oh my God, that's what you get for giving your money to those devils at Disney World, dude.
No, we were at Universal.
That's all the same thing.
Yeah, I know. I know, but Mama enjoys the theme parks, so.
Is your wife like a Mickey Mouse fan? Does she take
she
selfies
doesn't
with, the little ears on?
No, she doesn't do all that, but she really likes planning the trips.
She knows Holiday World's right here in Indiana. It's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, we usually go to Holiday World once a year.
What kind of redneckery did you just say? What is it called?
Holiday World, man. Holiday World. It's like Santa Claus land. It's in Santa Claus, Indiana.
It's a good time.
Is that Is that like a step below Dolly Parton's place, like in Tennessee?
No. Oh no. This is like, I mean, the buildings are all decorated like Christmas. They got what? They got Christmas, Halloween.
It used to be the #1 water park in the world.
4th of July, Thanksgiving land. I mean, and you can blow the whole park out in a day.
I don't know, man. That sounds like some Indiana stuff right there for sure.
No, it's 100% in the middle of the cornfields.
That's amazing.
1,000%.
Yep. The old Cook
that had
family.
To start with that probably started with some like retired Bendix welder from like Elkhart, Indiana, that was like bought a cornfield and he's like, I'm gonna weld me a roller coaster.
And then no, he built it out of wood.
Yeah, he built it out of wood.
Okay.
I think they got a new one coming on too.
I'm not about to fight with a couple. I'm not about to fight with a couple of Hoosiers right now.
Here, you'll appreciate this. Their new roller coaster is the Gravy Boat. It's going
no kidding.
Land. No kidding.
Well, Doug only gets to make fun because he's originally from Indiana.
Yeah.
Not really. My parents are from Indiana, and we make fun of my parents for being from Indiana all the time.
I mean,
he got grandfathered in.
You're
grandfathered in it. You have to watch the movie Hoosiers at least once a year.
Dude, it's the roots were deep too. Like, dude, my grandfathers, dude, they were like Studebaker. My daughter's standing and looking at the thing. She they came over for dinner tonight. We had family leaving, and she's like, you're really gonna take the living room and do a podcast? I'm like, yes, I am. Anyway, but my grandfathers were like Studebaker, Bendix. She's making faces at me. Anyway, so yeah, we got deep roots in Indiana, man. Deep roots.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was one of our original topics of conversation in our very first phone call.
I think that's how he chose to like this. He's like, I feel sorry for these hillbillies from Indiana.
I'll tell you what, I don't think I can pull it off this year, but maybe you guys will talk about this and we can go here in a minute. But one thing that we should talk about doing. So I got into you guys know Mav on YouTube? MAV?
I don't think so.
I don't think I've watched that one.
Yeah, look him up. He's like a YouTuber that I like. It's MAV. Anyway, he's got like this friend on YouTube. I don't know his name, but they're all ice fishermen guys.
Okay.
In Minnesota. And there's like, he's been doing this thing where he like partnered up with like, I think it's like icefishmn.com. I don't know. I'll send it to you guys later when I look it up. I've got a bookmark, but point being is you can rent these luxury ice houses on lakes in Minnesota that have like electronic beds that drop down and like pre-drilled holes with like caps where you can shut them to keep like the cold out. There's like fireplaces in them with generators. And dude, the best part is they have giant television screens with 360 cameras that go down in the holes. And you can sit there and watch like walleye and pike, like and perch, like eat your freaking
that's ice
lure.
Fishing.
Yeah.
Bro, but you're watching it on the screen. Like I've always seen like the little thing where it's like the little colors. And it's like, this is like, they've got those, but they've got them to where like you're literally staring in this trailer with like all these screens and electronics, and you're like making like sandwiches and dude. So my point is, it's
sounds
not
like Jay
that
Anderson's
crazy.
spear hunting.
Dude, it's not that expensive. Like, I mean, it's not cheap, but it's like $360 a night. But it's not bad. Can you imagine Chad and I drinking garage beers and Zach Bailiff like snorting creatine off the like countertop,
doing lines of creatine,
dude,
icing it out with a hook,
dude. Zach will be out there on the ice like doing push-ups at like 2 a.m. and we're just smashing walleyes and
it's all right. Somebody will need to be able to carry us. Zach's already had to back carry me once, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Anyway. But if you got, I mean, I know that Chad can get away with it. Zach will have to let. I think Zach, you only get like one trip a year, and it's to go hunt elk, isn't it?
Typically, but we're trying to make the situation. Yeah, trying to make the situation better.
Yeah, but we're trying to.
I don't know.
We're trying to collect more work.
Well, I'll here's my thing. I'll look at it and see where you got to fly into and like how far away it is. I'm sure they'll have to rent a car or whatever. I'm totally down for like if you guys can fly there, I'll take care of everything else and we just do it. It'll be fun, dude.
It'd be a good time.
It'd be a wild time. And you don't got to go nowhere. You can get as drunk as you want and slide across the ice.
No. Yeah. Well, dude, here's the thing. Here's the thing is like, dude, it's all inclusive. So like you show up at the outfitter and they literally hand you like 2 5-gallon buckets full of I don't even like these minnows. Like I can't remember what they call them, but there's a certain kind of minnow. And like you show up and all the rods are in a rod locker right there, and there's instructions like it's like a ice fishing Airbnb. It's like to turn on the cameras, push like you just do it all. And like, dude, there's like full cook kitchen in there, so like we can bring steaks.
Yeah. That's the side of Doug we didn't talk about tonight was his chef side.
No, you get like you did go through a phase when you was in your retirement. You was hard chefing.
I can cook a little bit.
Runs that flat top.
Do it. Yeah, I'll make.
We're gonna let the people go.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, guys. This could go on forever.
Let the people go. We could go on forever.
Yeah.
We'll be back for part
it's all
2.
good.
But so you guys out there, hope you enjoyed the whatever we call this, the podcast.
This
check
is
us
a
out,
couch conversation.
Couch Conversations with Douglas Fairbanks III.
Is it possible that Orion's going to send you all an email tomorrow and be like, dude, what was that?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, we haven't got one yet. Hey, this ain't even our worst podcast.
Not even close.
Not even close. Like you're like in top. Probably you're in the top echelon compared to the one we had. It was bad.
Who was that?
Dude got on here and talked about it. Yeah, I can't even go there.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Hit us up on the Spotify. There's lots of episodes. Jump in there. Give us a listen. We'll see you Thursday night for Jack's Kayak Talk. Bye-bye.
We'll see y'all.
Peace.